Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Get Inspired and Live in Your Power. And I have another amazing guest here tonight, Erleen Tilton. Actually, we met in California at a networking event. And I don't know how many years ago has it been, Erleen, since we met?
7 or 8, maybe.
Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. Yeah. And I remember you had just written your book. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me tell the audience a little bit about you, and then we'll just kind of jump into talking a little bit about some of your journey. In Erleen's 40-year journey, she has written at least 12 recipe books. And you tell me if I'm off on any of these numbers on whole food health. So 12 books, recipe books on whole food health. 3 of them are series. Is that right?
Right.
And then 2 first aid books. And then she stepped into the thought leader or coaching arena with a book called 7 Secrets to Healthy, Happy People. And over all that course of the time, she's also written 21 ebooks. Is that right?
Correct.
That is like an amazing accomplishment. She's also an aromatherapist. She's an author, of course, and a certified functional health coach. So Erleen is definitely speaking from a space of credibility and authority. When we met, and I remember I had just made the decision to write my own first book. I had been in a couple of anthologies, but I had never written a book of my own. And mine's called The 7 Gateways to Your Map to Integrity in Life and Business. And yours was 7 Secrets to Healthy, Happy People. And I remember meeting you at that networking event all those years ago because of that number 7 and because, we just had that connection of our books. Anyway, it's evident that you are super passionate about getting information out there to people who are seeking to stay on track with their health, but also to have a happy life. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, I started my journey when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
I had just had my second child. Actually, I was kind of a young mom, but I began experiencing a lot of emotional and physical challenges. And I was referred to a naturopath at the time who really helped with a lot of structural things that I had going on. But more importantly, he could see that I was not doing well. He offered to do some tests. And, the thing that I loved about what he did was he was willing to help see me through until I gained my health back. And I was on a new journey. This was a new thing for me. But he introduced a 4-part system, and he didn't even call it this. I just recognized this later. Diet was foundational. He helped me understand that it was diet that was getting me off track. I needed to get back on track with diet and everything that went in my mouth and my body. I needed to detox. That was so, so, so important. I needed some good nutritional supplements that would actually pull me out of that deep, dark pit where I was. Even though diet could do this eventually on its own, the detox and the supplementation were vital for being able to help me find and see those results. And then the target support was some other items that would help assist digestion, assist pain, assist emotions, those types of things that were also very vital to my success. Basically, within 5 or 6 short months, I was a new person. Had he told me that I would be that different person in 5 or 6 months, I wouldn't have believed him. I had to experience this life-changing experience for myself. I think as a world, we don't believe that what we're eating is really that bad, and eating better would really create this life change. But it's so true. Going to nature is really important for whole body wellness.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And a couple of things kind of popped up for me as you were talking, because I know you have really made an intense study of foods and plants and natural medicines and how everything affects the body in contrast to modern, even synthetic supplements and things like that. And that's part of, what fills your books, right? Your cookbooks and these 21 ebooks and articles that you've done along the way. One of the things that I noticed is throughout my life, I've always maintained a pretty healthy weight. I just have never really had to watch what I eat. But I think a lot of that stemmed from I was raised on whole foods. I mean, we had a farm, we had a garden, we had a cow. I don't know how you feel about dairy, but I was raised on whole milk, raw whole milk. And I mean, our whole family was always really healthy and we never really got sick. Afterwards, as time goes on, we get a little bit older. I'm going to be 60 this year. I had noticed that, I started carrying just a little bit more around my belly than I had in the past. And I tried particular diet and I did have a health coach and everything and lost quite a bit of weight, but I actually had to stop the diet because I started losing so much body fat, it just became dangerous. And so even working with a health coach with this particular food plan, it just wasn't working for me. And so I kind of went back to my roots and I was like, this whole food really worked for me in the past and it's always worked for me. There's just got to be, maybe some adjustments that I can make or whatever. And what I found was as I started doing a little bit of research to see how could I tweak that whole food diet, there is so much like mind-boggling information out there that even contradict each other. It's like, do fasting, don't do fasting, do this, don't do that. And it's like they are direct contradictions to each other. Anyway, that has been really a struggle for me, especially in the world that we live in now, where there's the internet, there's so much information out there, and so many types of foods and food plans and everything available that seem, quote, healthy. So how do you sort through all of that information?
Well, I think that that's an excellent question. And I think that definitely we have this day and age where we have so much information, people are confused. And this is why I think health coaching has been really, really important for me, because they're basically trying different diet plans, and different diet plans work for different people. It really goes on with what's going on in your body specifically. And that's why my wellness assessment really is pointed more specifically to the person and some of their needs. I can help them work through this, because when it comes to the end of the day, it's not a specific diet that is going to get you the results, even though whole foods and starting there is foundational for everyone. What I try to teach is principles that will really help people make their choices in a better way, but really looking to the foundational foods and making sure that they are good and quality. Applying those foundational principles will really be the game changer for you.
Awesome. And applying those principles, I think, is where a lot of people fall short because, like I say, there is so much information out there. And I mean, look at all the basket full of books that you've written. And so obviously there's tons of information out there. And, you're not saying that it's bad to just have the information because you put a bunch of information out there. But I know kind of the transition for you, like the whole shift for you happened when you realized that you had all these books out here and you'd even done some retreats. So you'd actually done some one-on-one coaching with people in a retreat setting, which I love retreats, and that immersive training is to me the best, the very best as far as live events is retreat settings. And so you've done that, but then in following up with people, you found that they weren't really following through. And you mentioned at the very beginning within your journey when you were 21 and working with this naturopath that he was committed to stay with you until you had made it through your journey. And I think the fact that we do have so much information out there, it's really, really important to have that one-on-one coaching. So tell us a little bit about that shift that you made when you realized that this is really where your passion lied, and this is really where you needed to be.
Well, I've had people ask me over the years, how have you been able to maintain this? Because literally, I'm 66 now. And so I've been doing this for 45 years. So how have I been able to still maintain my weight, maintain my health, maintain my dedication to nature. People can't understand that. And I said, well, first of all, I was determined. I made the decision. I was really determined to do this. I did have a health coach that helped me. To me, he walked me through this. And then I started teaching this. And I think those together helped me stay committed. But I go back to him. He not only provided the guidelines that I needed to be successful, and he helped me understand that your body is a system. We can't just target digestion and pain, but your body is a system. You heal your gut and your body, you heal your emotional and physical self. And so we really worked on gut health and getting my body back in order as a system. Over the years, I've realized that every book that I write, every retreat I do, and those are all fun and they're good, they're informational, people learn, but they go home or they go away or they forget the book, they're still not on track. So as a health coach, I'm able to point them to all of these things, and I still do all of them. I still feel like I'm writing and occasionally do retreats or getaways. But what really does it for them is me coaching them through the process, because it's an unfamiliar path. They've never walked this path. They don't know where the bumps and the detours are and what's going to lead them off that path. They need their questions answered along that journey. And if you just have a book, you just don't know what to do when you have questions, But more than anything, he helped me through all of that so that I could experience the change for myself. And most people don't experience change by themselves unless they're really, really, really highly dedicated. Most people, we fall back on our old habits, on our old friends, on our old favorite places that we go, favorite things we love, we fall back on those. So he helped me not only be accountable for the decisions that I was making and the road that I was on, but he helped me have that experience. He wanted to see me through to have that life-changing experience, and I did. That's where I realized over the years that this is where I can make a significant difference with other persons as well, is to coach them through these experiences. And so these last few years, as I've been doing health coaching, it's been so exciting to be able to help people literally along that path. And they see it, they experience it. It's so joyful when they are dropping pounds without really doing a diet. They're following the principles, they're seeing success, they're seeing that life change. And it's because I'm just helping them stay on track. And that's what a health coach does. Like I said, that's where I know I had the most help in sticking with it.
I love it. And what I'm hearing you say is that you, first of all, coach them into having a lifestyle, not just like, I'm going to hire a coach, so I can lose a certain amount of weight and then I'm, going to go back to my life. This is like, you are helping them to have a lifestyle transformation. You mentioned those words to me when we were talking earlier, lifestyle transformation. And it's for life. I mean, you've been doing it, like you said, for like 45 years. And you're still, I remember you, when we met 7 years ago, and I'm looking at you today and you're just as vibrant. Your weight hasn't changed. You just have maintained this consistency. And I think it really goes back to what you were talking about, the body being a system, because we all know that when we have a system that works, everything works. You affect your health, and you're also going to affect every other area of your life. Your relationships are better. Your ability to even earn money is better because you feel better about yourself and you love yourself. And there's just like so many, just every area of your life is affected when you make a lifestyle transformation for good. And I love what you're saying about kind of being a life partner, a life coach. A life coach, life as in lifelong, not just like coaching someone about their life, but being a lifelong coach, I go back to some of my mentors that I've had, years ago. I'm actually working with two mentors right now that I've worked with probably about 10 years ago. And it's because I had such a great experience then, and I needed a little brush up, and I can go back. Erleen, and some of the content that you sent me as like ideas of what we could talk about on our interview today, you put a quote in here that I was really struck by, and I just wanted to share this with our listeners. True health and wellness is a choice, and all anyone has to do to obtain it is to look to nature in its purest form. And I think that's what you were talking about. It kind of all starts with diet, but then adding in, what did you say? The supplements and the detox is a way to really heal your health and kind of reset your gut. I know that's kind of where you start your coaching program also. And I was thinking about that. Diet is a really great place to start because we all have to eat. This is like common ground. Everybody doesn't buy into taking supplements right at the get-go. Everybody doesn't buy into detox at the get-go, but everybody has to eat. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your coaching program? And you don't have to like go into all the details, but maybe just, I know it starts with that wellness assessment, which I'm going to be sharing with you how to get that wellness assessment in just a moment. And then it sounds like you kind of start with diet. Do you want to just talk about maybe the first little bit what people could expect if they were going to work with you?
Okay. So first of all, in looking at the wellness assessment, it basically is asking a bunch of questions that really helps me to know what has brought you to today. So we take kind of your past is creating your present. So what is creating the present? And so I really go into everything that you eat and you drink, and maybe some of your supplements, medications. What's your lifestyle as far as activity, sleep, work, stresses, behaviors, maybe some of those, your weight, your height, your age. All of these factors into kind of helping me understand more about you personally. But I always go into diet and really focus on that because, again, your gut health is your health. And if we can reset your gut, then we can reset your body. And usually this takes about 90 days. They say 21 days changes a habit, but 90 days changes your lifestyle. And if I can get people to commit to 90 days, let's just do this for 90 days. And people will often say, well, I've got a family reunion or a class reunion or a party or this and that. And I'm going, you know what? You're going to have family reunions, parties, and whatever for the rest of your life. You've got to learn to still stay on track, even though you're going to experience parties and gatherings. And so this is a great time to do it. Commit to being really, really focused and intentional in these 90 days, because if you can do this, it will change your life. And it does every time. People go through the process. They can do this for 90 days. And we really focus in on diet, the do's and don'ts, and there's several variables too. It's not like cut and dried, but I really work through diet and I help them recognize what is fueling them and what is stopping them, what your body is telling you. And the detox just kind of accelerates it. And so do the supplements and the target support. These accelerate the good things that you're doing in your diet. So to me, diet is always foundational. It's where we start. It's where we spend the most time. And I help you get the results you want by really being intentional. And it works. It works. Nature will not fail you.
Beautiful. I love that. And that is the philosophy that I buy into too. I just feel like God created this wonderful, abundant earth, and we're meant to experience variety. And I mean, I don't know how many varieties of corn and, whatever. Obviously, he wanted us to experience a lot of variety, a lot of really fun, good tasting, beautiful, colorful, because that's what he created, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Couple things that you mentioned, like reunions, holidays. I know when my husband and I were on this food plan, we did it for a full year. And so we experienced all of that, the birthdays and the celebrations and the holidays and all these things. And we would either eat before we went, or we would take, some of our own food, or like potlucks, we would make sure that we take something that would be okay for us to eat. And so there are definitely ways to do that. What I found though, was if I had been on my own, and this goes back to what really inspired you to, to be a coach, because if I had been doing that on my own, I don't know, it's really hard to kind of be, to be in the food line, going through, and you're picking through and just taking, these few things, and everybody's loading their plates up. And it does feel a little bit odd to begin with, to not be just kind of like in there tasting everything that everybody brought. But having a health coach and knowing that you've got an accountability partner that you kind of have to answer to and stuff like that, that really did make it possible for me. And then the other thing is, because of all the information out there and all the different ways to eat and everything, I mean, I could say, okay, I'm going to do the research, and I'm going to, find out what's going to be the best for me and everything, but it might take me 10 years. And you've already put the 40 years in, to get all that information boiled down. So I can just see how, I just wanted to reiterate how important it is to have somebody to kind of walk alongside with you that has already been where you want to be, so that you can trust that, they're taking you somewhere good. And also, so you have kind of an accountability partner to keep you on track.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share on that?
Yes. I think one of the ways that I feel like I can help people the most is alternatives, because those are the questions that I have come back to me with the people that I coach. Like I said, if we meet on a weekly or biweekly basis, they come back to me and they're saying, well, I really like this. I had one lady this week. She says, I just want to get rid of this. What can I do? And I suggested several alternatives for what she was wanting to, go to, because I think we all have our go-tos. Going on a program like this, it's not like you'll never not have any cravings or tendencies, but the biggest thing I help people do is come up with a good alternative for those. Like, there's great cheesecakes that are completely sugar-free, dairy-free, and grain-free. And people go, what? I mean, there are a lot of great alternatives in today's world. Now, back when I started 45 years ago, I literally had nothing like that, like we do today. So if you just prepare a little bit ahead, think ahead, know what those alternatives are, so you don't get caught in a situation to where you make decisions that you wouldn't otherwise. I'm telling you, this is a lifesaver for me and for people that I work with. So
that's awesome. And as we've been talking to each other, I noticed that you do have resources and services to help people be successful. I know one of the things that you mentioned is that you are a aromatherapist in doTERRA. And that is one of the things that you have done some research on and you found have really worked for people. And so, because you feel like it's so important, the coaching part is so important, then you actually offer that free personal coaching for your team in doTERRA, which I thought was, because I mean, that really speaks to the passion that you have for making sure that everyone is successful in their life journey and their life transformation, not just in, their eating or whatever, but in this whole system that you're helping them to create.
Yes, I just want to see people be successful. And I know they can when they put these all four pieces together, because it really can help support your body and get your body where you want to be. So I'm here to help support anyone if they really are truly intentional about making lifestyle transformation.
That's awesome. I love that. So grateful for you. Before we go any further, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up, I'm going to be asking you a question at the end of maybe a piece of advice that you can give to our listeners for someone who is wanting to make this change in their lives, this lifestyle transformation, and whether it is in the health arena or if it's in some other, well, obviously with you, it's probably in the health arena, but really any area of their life, if they're wanting to make a shift and create a lifestyle transformation, what would be your piece of advice? So I'll let you think about that for just a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to share the way to get the wellness assessment with Erleen. And that is to go to the website, Happy Gut Foodie, happygutfoodie.com/WA, happygutfoodie.com/WA. So that will get you into that wellness assessment. That's totally free. And then she also has offered a extra special value, $175 value for anybody who goes on and gets that. Now, how will you know that they came from this?
I actually do have a question on there that asks where they came in from.
Okay, perfect. So there we go. So make sure that you put the Get Inspired and Live in Your Power podcast, or you can put my name, and Erleen will know where that came from. So if you put that information in there, then she's offering a $175 value for you. It is 2 coaching sessions. So along with that online wellness assessment, you're also going to be able to get 2 coaching sessions with Erleen. And I think that is an amazing value, and super grateful for that generous offer. Erleen, is there anything else you wanted to say about the wellness assessment, or everybody jumping on there and getting that for themselves?
I just encourage people to do this because it's free, and I'm giving you my time just to see for yourself if I can help make a difference in your life. So why not? Why not see if I can help you make a difference?
I love it. There's no obligation. It's free. There's no commitment or anything other than just those first 2 sessions. So yeah, exactly. Why not? There's no reason not to do it. So thank you. All right. And I will put that information in the description as well, so that you will be able to reference that and just go right there. Just click on it and it will take you right there. So Erleen, before we end today, I just have that one last question for you. What is a piece of advice that you could give to our listeners, someone who is in a position right now where they're wanting to make a lifestyle transformation? And, obviously health is what we've been focusing on today, but even if it's in a different area, because we know all areas are affected, what advice would you give to our listeners today?
I first like to start by saying you are important, and your health is super important for being able to fulfill your personal mission here on earth. It affects your emotions, your mental, your physical self, and even your spiritual self. So your health and your state of health really, really affects everything that you do. You are important, and this is important. So what I encourage people to do is, let me see if I can help you. Again, no obligation. But what's really going to make this change for you is to be committed, and don't look back. Don't look back of what doesn't work. Look forward and keep your eye on your goals and what you want to have happen. I had one gal tell me today, and I'm going to forever hold on this analogy. She said, I have been looking back on Sodom and Gomorrah like Lot's wife. And she says, I'm no longer going to do that. And I thought, wow, what a great analogy. Quit looking back, because that is what gets people in trouble. You've got to look forward and keep moving forward. And if you do that and make positive changes for yourself, you'll see and reach the goals that you really want to see happen for yourself.
Beautiful. So the things I wrote down was, you are important. Know that you are important. Make positive changes and don't look back.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Great advice. Thank you so much, Erleen, for being here. And thank you to our listeners for being here. Remember, check the description for the link for the wellness assessment from Erleen. And I welcome everybody back for our next podcast episode, where we're going to have another amazing guest. And until then, get inspired and live in your power.
Thank you, Eileen.
You are welcome. Thank you.